Morning everyone, welcome back. What is it, March 29th or 30th? I don't know, doesn't really matter. One day flows right into the next. So we're back on the 59. I got all of that 37 Plymouth stuff out of here. Seat frame's all gone. I didn't bother filming any of it. It was a real pain in the ass to do. So I had another 21 hours on that stuff. So that takes the complete total for the Plymouth to 466 hours, I guess. Lots of fun. So 59, I'm just trying to figure out transferring parts from the 03 Silverado into it. I started working on the heater. Man, what a job getting the heater box out of those 03s. You have to take the entire dash out, and good thing I don't care about the dash on it, because I ended up getting a little excited and tore a bunch of it out. So I'll show you what I'm working on. The e-brake, just transferring the e-brake pedal, and really simple job. The only thing I had to do was this, the pedal itself had too much offset in it. It kicked up way over here, so I split it on the backside here. On the backside here, this one I bent down, this one I bent up, and then I welded it back up. I'm just going to throw a little bit of paint on that. The only modifications I had to do was I had to trim the corners off of the front upper mount, and I had to bend the top mount at an angle because of the underdash shape on the 59. What I did in here was I put in 3 rivet nuts. There's one here, one down there, one up there. It doesn't block the vent hole at all, and I can bolt it in with 3 1/4-inch bolts. So working really good. Next thing I have to do is figure out where I'm going to go through the floor here with the actual cable. I'll have to lift it up and take a look underneath, and we should have an e-brake on this thing pretty quick. Okay guys, we got ourselves a working parking brake. The original grommet out of the 03 worked perfect there. Goes down, releases. Just grab the light here. I just had to weld a little piece of angle with the proper hole in it there for the cable to go into, and it all worked out really well. I shortened up the cable, used a couple 1/8 cable clamps to tie it all together, and it works good. On to the next part. Okay everyone, with the e-brake done, I figured I'd move on to figuring out this heater AC box for the cab, and I went and spent probably 2 hours getting the dash and everything out of that 03, and then pulling the actual heater box out, which was pretty easy. I think there was 4 bolts, but there is no way on God's green earth that this is fitting in that 59. This thing is massive. It's 40 inches long, about 13 inches deep, and probably 16 inches tall. There's just not a chance in hell I'm going to be able to do that. So that changes everything a whole bunch. I'm a little bit screwed now. The only thing I'm going to be able to do is go to a Vintage Air Gen 2 Mini heat-cooled defrost system. And with our dollar the way it is right now, that's probably $350 more than it was when I put that unit in the 28 Dodge. So I bit the bullet and got that ordered this morning. It's coming. I want to be able to get all the holes figured out in the firewall so that I can get the firewall painted and continue on getting this thing ready for the road. Next thing I'm going to do is work under the cab here. I've got a few brackets to weld in place for the seat mounts. Okay everyone, back again. What I'm working on here now is I got to take the front clip off to do some work on door hinges and stuff. I've got to get the doors so that they fit. Right now, when you go to close them, they hit the latch and it lifts the back up because the pins and everything are all wore out in the doors themselves. So what I'm going to do is get everything done I want to under the hood here, and while I'm waiting for my AC unit to come in so I can figure out where it's going to go. And the other stuff I have to do is try and shoehorn all of that 2003 stuff under the hood. So I've got the ECM, which is right there in the box, and the mount for the ECM. I'll just grab that. And on the 03, the ECM was under the battery. The battery was right here on the 03. The fuse box is right here, and then everything goes through the firewall from there. I just don't have room for everything on this side, so what I'm going to end up having to do is move the battery to the passenger side, and I haven't quite figured out where that's going to go yet till the AC unit's here. It's all going to be really tight, I already know that. I may end up having to put the battery in the front corner of the box or build a battery box underneath. Not sure yet, we'll just have to see. But right now I've got the fuse panel, the underhood fuse panel. It's way bigger than it needs to be. There's a bunch of stuff I can cut off. This was all supports for the wiring harness, which I can do in a different way. I'll trim this off. Got this mounted in there. I want to keep the cover for it in some shape or form. It's pretty big, but we'll see what happens. So I'm starting out with the ECM, and it's actually going to be easier than I thought. I'll just show you here. So this is the factory ECM mount. What I've done so far is it had this bracket here, came straight across, and there was 2 mounting holes and then one down here. So I trimmed that off parallel to the face of it, which is going to allow me to mount it right here with the ECM plugs facing backwards. So what I'm going to make now is a metal bracket that I can bolt to the ECM mount and then bolt that or weld it to my inner fender well here. So I'm going to work on that. I'll make this little bracket, and then I can show you how I did that and where exactly it's going to go. And then we'll try trimming up that fuse box, get it so that it'll go in here, and maybe we can start running some wires and just see how everything's going to fit. Once the front end comes off, I've got to make up my front brake lines. I don't have them right now because we're not using the ABS pump. The ABS pump, all the individual lines went to it, and then there was 2 lines from the master went to the pump. And it was all distributed through that god-awful pump. So now what I've done is I bought a T. I'm going to T the front lines just like they've always done. One port will be the front, one port will be the back, and it'll just be a conventional system. So the other cool thing about this is right next to the master on the booster there, that's a vacuum pump. So if the engine's low on vacuum because of acceleration, that thing will kick on by itself, create a vacuum, and you don't have to worry about running out of vacuum. That could maybe help some other people with high performance cars that are trying to run power brakes and a little low on vacuum. That might just be the ticket. So I'm not sure about the wiring for it, but I'm sure it would be easy to figure out. So okay, I'm going to make this mount. I'll show you how I do that, and we'll get this mounted. So we have our beer case CAD template for our steel bracket that is going to bolt to the plastic GM bracket. I cut out a blank, marked my 2 brakes in it. We'll get it on here. My poor old brake is getting really wore out. Break them both to 90. Oh, naturally. Picked a bad spot. I'm going to have to move it down so it clears the upper support. Then we can go to 90. Okay, now we'll take it over and see how it fits the plastic mount. Could have brought that with me, but that would have taken planning. Okay, so we got the mount. And looks like I'm going to need a little bit more than 90 in this upper one to bring this in. And then we should be good. I'll just go and adjust this. Okay, we got a good fit there now. I had to add bend to this one and take bend out of this one. Now there's a hole here for a bolt, there's a hole here, and I'm going to drill another one between the webs right down at the back end here. These upper ones must carry all of the weight. There was a little metal insert that was pushed in there, so when I drill this, I'm going to make the hole big enough for this insert to go in there. Okay, so I've got the bracket bolted to the plastic piece. I put a rivet nut in the lower one here. It's accessible from there as well as the inside. And then the other two are 1/4 inch nut and bolt. I put that steel reinforcing bushing in there. So what I've done now is I've marked the location of this on the inner fender. I'm going to take it off of here. I'm going to figure out where the 3 mounting bolts are going to go. I'll drill them. I'm going to put rivet nuts in this so that I can bolt it in from the from inside the fender. Okay, so we got the mount all finished here. Coat a flat black paint on it. I've got the holes drilled in the inner fender, and I've got 3 rivet nuts here for mounts. Nice thing without the headlights in here, I can just reach in and mount this thing, if you can find the holes. Room for your hands, but not your head. Not that that would do me any good. There's 2 out of 3. Nope, not yet. Here we go. And the third one. This sucker bolted in here. Helps if you got the ratchet turned on instead of off. You can more on. Bolt it in here. Have to put the rad in just to make sure I still got clearance. And then we've even got the, I think, the factory cover is still going to fit and work. I can figure out how to put it on, just like that. You betcha. So that takes care of the first piece. Next is going to be the fuse panel. I'll work on that next. That's going to go right in front of the brake booster here. At least that's my plan. We'll see how it all comes together. Okay everyone, I built a simple mount for the fuse panel. This bolts to the inner fender, and then the fuse panel, sorry, keep you in frame. This bolts to the inner fender, and then the fuse panel bolts to the top of this. I'll just get this bolted in and show you the final results. Okay, we got the fuse box in there, and even the cover fits. If I can get it in here. She's a little snug. It's something to stand on. Gotta get all these wires in the right position. Okay, there we go with that. And then the cover. I like it. It sure take an empty engine bay and fill it up quick, this new stuff. So the next thing on the agenda now is to figure out where I'm going to run the main loom through the firewall, and I'll have to drill a big hole for that. There's a great big grommet that goes through the firewall, so I'll get that figured out and maybe start plugging some of this stuff in, or maybe not. Maybe I'll pull a clip and then I can get started on getting those doors done. And I want to paint the inside of the clip here, get some new flat black paint on all of the components, and then I can figure out this firewall as well at the same time and get it painted. Okay, so we're back. I've spent 2 days now, many tried and failed attempts at adapting the 2003 Silverado windshield wiper motor to the 59. It's quite the chore. It had vacuum ones in it, so math was never my strong suit. In fact, it's the reason I quit school. But trial and error works just as good as math. It would have taken me just as long to figure out the math on this. So what I've done is I built a jack shaft that uses the arm off of the vacuum windshield pump or windshield wiper motor on the GM. I used a piece of tube and a couple of bronze bushings, the universal ones I got from my local auto parts store. And then I took the arms off of the 03 and whittled them down till I got the proper measurements to get the proper stroke. On these, they move about 2.5 inches either direction for the full stroke. And then you also have to try and get park all into place on this so that it goes back to park all the time. And I think I finally got it worked out and figured out here. I'll just show you. I've only got one function on the wiper motor. I've only been able to figure out one of the wires here. Let me grab my power, and we'll just give this a go. Works really nice and smooth, and it always returns to the same spot. Just try it again. So now I've got to go up there and make sure that all of this is going to fit where I need it to fit without running into a bunch of crap. So that's my next step. doing that. Okay, we're back again. This is what 16 to 20 hours of Imagineering and fabrication gets you. I've got the windshield wiper motor gearbox out of the 03 here. I had to modify this arm a little. I just put a little bit of an offset into it. I used part of the long arm that went to the crossbar, part of the mount here, and then everything else I had to fabricate. So this is the only piece that was in the 59, and that's the swing arm that the two joiner links go to. It's got a little ridge cut into it here for some special keepers. That's the reason I kept it. And so what did I use here? I used some 14 gauge steel to make the mounting bracket. This is 2 of the original mounting holes, and then there's 1 extra mount on the back side of the motor that goes to the front of the dash. I used a piece of 3/8 ID tubing that I drilled to 7/16 because I couldn't find 7/16 tubing. I put in 2 bronze bushings. They're 1 inch long a piece, so this is very well supported, this whole mechanism. The shaft I have tightened on the end with 2 nuts as well as a tack weld. It took a lot of adjustment crawling in and out from under the dash to get all of the angles exactly right. So what I'm going to do is throw a little bit of paint on this. I'll assemble it. I'll show you the finished assembly, and then I'll get it installed and show you the wipers working. Okay, here's the assembled unit. The arms are installed. I just put a little bit of silicone grease on the insides of these before I snapped them on. And it mounts in there just like this. So I'll get this installed now, and we can take her from there. Okay, here's the unit installed in the cab. I'll just go around the other side, show you that. Some light in here. Okay, got all the arms hooked up. Everything's ready to go. Got the keeper on the shaft there. Let's see if I can get you set up here. Yeah, probably not. No, that ain't gonna work. Okay, give me a sec here and I'll see if I can get. Okay, we still only have the one intermittent. Pretty happy with that. Worked out really good. Just need some new rubbers for the wipers, and we should be good there. So I'll just come around here. So I'd call that good for this video. Next thing we're going to start on is mounting the 03 light switch. I ordered a brand new one. They're only like 26 bucks. And that'll be interesting to install into the dash because it's flush mount and snaps into the plastic mount on the 03, but we're going to make a metal one. So I'll show you how I'm going to go about that. So once again, everybody, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for subscribing. All the support. Take care.